Analyzing arguments, from reading to writing. Have you ever changed your mind about something? What caused you to re-examine a belief or idea? Most likely, you read or heard someone else's perspective that challenged you to think about an issue in a different way. It might have been a clear, thoughtful presentation of information, a personal story that tugged at your conscience, a startling statistic, or even a bit of humor or satire that presented a familiar issue in a new and enlightening way. It's less likely that you were bullied into reconsidering your opinion by a loud voice that belittled your ideas. By carefully and respectfully reading the viewpoints of others and considering a range of ideas on an issue, we develop a clearer understanding of our own beliefs, a necessary foundation to writing effective arguments. In this chapter, we're going to analyze elements of argument as a means of critical thinking and an essential step toward crafting your own argumentative essays. What is argument? Although we have been discussing argument in previous chapters, the focus has been primarily on rhetorical appeals and style. We'll continue examining those elements, but here we take a closer look at an argument's claim, evidence, and organization. Let's start with some definitions. What is argument? Is it a conflict, a contest between opposing forces to prove the other side wrong, a battle with words? Or is it, rather, a process of reasoned inquiry and rational discourse seeking common ground? If it is the latter, then we engage in argument whenever we explore ideas rationally and think clearly about the world. Yet these days, argument is often no more than raised voices interrupting one another, exaggerated assertions without adequate support, and scanty evidence from sources that lack credibility. We might call this crazed rhetoric, as political commentator Tom Tolles does in the following cartoon. This cartoon appeared on January 16, 2011, a few days after Arizona Congresswoman Gabrielle Giffords was the victim of a shooting. 6 people were killed and another 13 injured. Many people saw this tragedy as stemming from vitriolic political discourse that included violent language. Tolles argues that Uncle Sam, and thus the country, is in danger of being devoured by crazed rhetoric. There may not be a next trick or a taming if the rhetorical lion continues to roar. Is Tolles' view exaggerated? Whether you answer yes or no to that question, it seems quite clear that partisanship and polarization often hold sway over dialogue and civility when people think of argument. In our discussions, however, we define argument as a persuasive discourse, a coherent and considered movement from a claim to a conclusion. The goal of this chapter is to avoid thinking of argument as a zero-sum game of winners and losers, but instead to see it as a means of better understanding other people's ideas as well as your own. In Chapter 1, we discussed concession and refutation as a way to acknowledge a counterargument, and we want to re-emphasize the usefulness of that approach. Viewing anyone who disagrees with you as an adversary makes it very likely that the conversation will escalate into an emotional clash, and treating opposing ideas disrespectfully rarely results in mutual understanding. 20th century psychologist Carl Rogers stressed the importance of replacing confrontational argument tactics with ones that promote negotiation, compromise, and cooperation. Rogerian arguments are based on the assumption that having a full understanding of an opposing position is essential to responding to it persuasively and refuting it in a way that is accommodating rather than alienating. Ultimately, the goal of a Rogerian argument is not to destroy your opponents or dismantle their viewpoints, but rather to reach a satisfactory conclusion. So, what does a civil argument look like? Let's examine a short article that appeared in Ode magazine in 2009 entitled, Why Investing in Fast Food May Be a Good Thing. In this piece, Amy Dominy, a financial advisor and leading voice for socially responsible investing, argues the counterintuitive position that investing in the fast food industry can be an ethically responsible choice. Why investing in fast food may be a good thing. Amy Dominy. My friends and colleagues know I've been an advocate of the slow food movement for many years. Founded in Italy 20 years ago, Slow Food celebrates harvest from small-scale family farms, prepared slowly and lovingly with regard for the health and environment of diners. Slow Food seeks to preserve crop diversity, so the unique taste of heirloom apples, tomatoes, and other foods don't perish from the earth. I wish everyone would choose to eat this way. The positive effects on the health of our bodies and our local economies and our planet would be incalculable. Why then do I find myself investing in fast food companies? The reason is, social investing isn't about investing in perfect companies. Perfect companies, it turns out, don't exist. We seek to invest in companies that are moving in the right direction and listening to their critics. We offer a roadmap to bring those companies to the next level step by step. No social standard causes us to reject restaurants, even fast food ones, out of hand. Although we favor local organic food, we recognize it isn't available in every community and is often priced above the means of the average household. Many of us live more than 100 miles from a working farm. Fast food is a way of life. In America, the average person eats it more than 150 times a year. In 2007, sales for the 400 largest US-based fast food chains totaled 277 billion, up 7% from 2006. Fast food is a global phenomenon. Major chains and their local competitors open restaurants in nearly every country. For instance, in Greece, burgers and pizza are supplanting the traditional healthy Mediterranean diet of fish, olive oil, and vegetables. Doctors are treating Greek children for diabetes, high cholesterol, and high blood pressure, ailments rarely seen in the past. The fast food industry won't go away anytime soon, but in the meantime, it can be changed. And because it's so enormous, even seemingly modest changes can have a big impact. In 2006, New York City banned the use of trans fats, a staple of fast food and restaurants, and in 2008, California became the first state to do so. When McDonald's moved to non-trans fat for making French fries, the health benefits were widespread. Another area of concern is fast food packaging, which causes forest destruction and creates a lot of waste. In the US alone, 1.8 million tons of packaging is generated each year. Fast food containers make up about 20% of litter, and packaging for drinks and snacks adds another 20%. A North Carolina-based organization called the Dogwood Alliance has launched an effort to make fast food companies reduce waste and source paper responsibly. Through a campaign called No Free Refills, the group is pressing fast food companies to reduce their impact on the forests of the southern U.S., the world's largest paper-producing region. They're pushing companies to reduce the overuse of packaging, maximize use of 100% post-consumer recycled boxboard, eliminate paper packaging from the most biologically important endangered forests, eliminate paper packaging from suppliers that convert natural forests into industrial pine plantations, encourage packaging suppliers to source fiber from responsibly managed forests certified by the Forest Stewardship Council, recycle waste in restaurants to divert paper and other material from landfills. Will the fast food companies adopt all these measures overnight? No. But along with similar efforts worldwide, this movement signals that consumers and investors are becoming more conscious of steps they can take toward a better world, beginning with the way they eat. While my heart will always be with slow food, I recognize the fast food industry can improve and that some companies are ahead of others on that path.